In the chilling darkness of a winter's night, a young girl finds herself the object of a relentless stalker's obsession. Our story begins with a vibrant, lively young woman, full of dreams and aspirations. Her world is filled with friends, family, and the occasional social media follower. But little did she know, one of these followers would turn her world upside down. This wasn't your typical social media interaction. As she scrolled through her notifications, she noticed one user who seemed to like and comment on every post, every picture, every fleeting thought she shared. An unnerving feeling crept over her as she realized this was more than just a dedicated fan. Days turned into weeks, and the persistent attention didn't wane. She began to notice the same man in her daily life, at the coffee shop, the grocery store, and even near her home. The virtual world had breached into her reality, and the terror that comes with being stalked took hold. Valentine's Day arrived, a day meant for love and affection, but for our young girl, it was a day of dread. As she sat across the table from her date, her heart pounded not out of romantic anticipation, but fear. And then, like a nightmare come to life, the stalker appeared. In the midst of heart-shaped balloons and candlelit dinners, chaos erupted. The stalker, unable to contain his twisted obsession, interrupted their dinner. The scene was horrifyingly surreal, a stark contrast to the romantic atmosphere surrounding them. But as fear gave way to action, the restaurant staff swiftly called the police. Their arrival was like a beacon of hope amidst the terror. The man was apprehended, his deranged eyes revealing the depth of his obsession. And as the police handcuffed the stalker, the chilling reality of her ordeal finally sunk in. This wasn't a horror movie, it was her life. But she was not a victim, she was a survivor. This Valentine's Day, love was overshadowed by fear, but it also brought a newfound strength and resilience. Her story serves as a stark reminder of the dark side of obsession and the horrifying reality that sometimes the monsters aren't under our bed, but hiding behind a screen. A romantic dinner for two takes a sinister turn when a strange couple extends an invitation that's too peculiar to accept. Our tale begins on a chilly Valentine's Day evening. A young couple, their hearts brimming with affection, heads out for a romantic dinner at a cozy downtown restaurant. They're met with the warm, inviting ambience of soft candlelight and the soothing melodies of a piano in the background. As they settle into their evening, they notice a pair of individuals, noticeably out of place in the romantic setting. This peculiar pair, a man and woman, bore an eccentric air about them. Their attire was a bit too flamboyant for the subdued atmosphere of the restaurant, and their laughter a bit too loud. Despite the oddity, our couple shrugged it off and focused on their own evening, their conversation filled with sweet whispers and shared laughter. However, as the evening wore on, the strange couple approached them. Their smiles were wide, their eyes gleaming with an unsettling intensity. They extended an invitation to visit their studio, a place they promised was filled with wonders that would make their Valentine's Day unforgettable. The invitation was peculiar, too peculiar to accept. The couple, although taken aback, politely declined. They had plans of their own, a night they had carefully planned and looked forward to. But the strange pair didn't seem to take no for an answer. They insisted, their insistence growing more fervent with each passing minute. It was only when our couple firmly reiterated their refusal did the pair finally retreat, leaving a chilling silence in their wake. As the evening progressed, the couple tried to dismiss the strange encounter and return to their romantic dinner. But something had changed. The once warm ambience of the restaurant now felt cold. The soothing melodies of the piano now sounded eerie. Their laughter, once filled with joy, now echoed with unease. The couple decided to cut their evening short and head home. But as they left the restaurant, they found their car tires punctured. They called for a cab, but the driver seemed to take wrong turns, leading them further away from their destination. They reached out to friends, but their calls went unanswered. The world around them seemed to close in, as if pushing them towards that unwanted invitation. They were trapped in a nightmarish labyrinth, their Valentine's Day turning into a chilling encounter. They were left questioning. Was it just a series of unfortunate events, or was there something more sinister at play? As the peculiar events unfolded, the couple realized their Valentine's Day dinner had turned into a nightmarish encounter. A charming man, a Tinder match, a cozy apartment, the perfect setting for a Valentine's Day date, or so it seemed. That's how our tale of terror begins this Valentine's Day. It was a typical chilly February evening when our protagonist, let's call her Jane, decided to meet up with her Tinder match. A handsome man, seemingly well-educated and with a seemingly good taste in music, he had invited her over to his place. The idea of a cozy night in, as opposed to the cliché dinner and movie, had appealed to her. As Jane stepped into the man's apartment, she was taken aback by the tastefully done interiors. Little did she know she was walking into a web ingeniously spun by a man with a sinister plan. As the night progressed, Jane started feeling an uncanny presence in the apartment. She brushed it off initially, attributing her uneasiness to first-date jitters. However, her suspicion grew when she spotted a shadow dart across the hallway. The apartment, she realized, was not as empty as she had been led to believe. As she delved deeper into the apartment, the horrifying truth began to unravel. She wasn't alone. There were others too, victims like her, lured into this apartment under the guise of a romantic date. The truth hit her hard. She was in the lair of a serial killer. Fear gripped her, but she knew she had to stay calm. She had to think clearly if she wanted to escape this horror. She managed to call the police, whispering her location and the danger she was in, before hiding herself away. The police arrived swiftly, storming the apartment to find a scene straight out of a horror movie. The man, the charming Tinder match, was apprehended. Jane was rescued, shaken but alive, a survivor of a Valentine's Day date turned nightmare. The case went to trial, and the man was found guilty of multiple counts of murder. His chilling modus operandi of luring unsuspecting women through a dating app sent shivers down the spine of everyone in the courtroom. As the judge pronounced the sentence, the man's facade finally crumbled. His charming exterior could no longer hide the monster within. As the judge pronounced the sentence, the horrific truth of her Valentine's Day date was finally laid bare. This Valentine's Day, remember, not all that glitters is gold. Sometimes beneath the charming exterior lurks a terror that can turn a day of love into a night of horror. Valentine's Day, a day of love, can sometimes turn into a day of unimaginable horror. Let's rewind the clock for a moment, recalling the chilling tales we've just explored. The first story introduced us to a young girl, a victim of a relentless stalker. The stalker's obsession escalated from a mere social media nuisance to a real-life threat, culminating in a dramatic confrontation on Valentine's Day at a restaurant. A supposed day of love and affection was tainted by fear and the sound of sirens. Then we moved on to the second story, a tale of an unsuspecting couple who, on their way to a romantic dinner, encountered a strange duo. They politely declined an invitation to the duo's studio, but the evening took a peculiar turn. A potential Valentine's surprise descended into a series of eerie events, transforming their lovely evening into a nightmarish ordeal. Finally, we shivered through the third story, a chilling encounter born from a seemingly innocent Tinder match. The girl, invited to her match's place, soon realized she was not alone. In a horrifying twist, her date turned out to be a dangerous predator. A day that should be filled with romance and connection was instead marred by terror and a brush with death. Each of these stories underscores a chilling irony, that a day dedicated to love and affection can, under the right circumstances, morph into a day of unimaginable horror. These tales also serve as a stark reminder of the importance of staying vigilant and safe, even when the world around us is painted in hues of red and pink and filled with hearts and roses. As we bid adieu, remember, even on Valentine's Day, one must always be vigilant. Stay safe, and may your love stories be free of horror.